Foreman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
NFL Week 9, guys. Season's halfway through now, and it's flying by. It is flying by. I talked about some surprises last week, and there were a ton. There were a ton of surprises. Looking forward to see what the second half of the season has in store, right? Some of these surprises, some of these teams that got off to a hot start could fall apart here in the second half. So it will definitely be interesting to see. I'll be looking at 3 games like usual. This week I'll be looking at the Monday nighter like always. It's a Ravens at Saints, got a good game there. Rams at Bucs I'll be looking at as well. A matchup some thought could be maybe a little more appealing going at the start of the year at least. And however, doesn't look like these two teams are Super Bowl contenders, and even though they were at the start of the year. And also look at the Bills and Jets. Fairly big divisional game there, even though the spread is quite high. Trade deadline. Let's take a quick look at the trade deadline, guys. It was this week, and this is probably the more active trade deadline I've seen in a long time. Tons of big trades and big moves to some teams that I'll quickly go over here, and I do move them up on my power rankings, and I do expect big things for them in the second half due to these trades. Obviously, just one guy in some cases, but there were some big ones. They're obviously going to start with my Ravens getting Roquan Smith, leading tackler in the NFL. It's a big deal, You're not just adding some corner that's a good in coverage. You're adding the leader in tackles and probably one of the best linebackers, top 3 linebackers in the NFL, period. So it's a big deal. It's something that the Ravens needed. They did need another linebacker to play beside Queen. It's just going to be huge for the run game as well. He's good in coverage as well, but that run game is going to even be better. It's going to be hard to run on this Ravens team. And Roquan Smith is going to be flying everywhere. I think he had 16 or 17 tackles against the Ravens the time they played, so he probably wanted to show out for them. And now look at that. He is with the Ravens. So I definitely move Ravens up a little bit on the power ranking. They're starting to get healthier, too. They're getting linebackers back. They're getting guys back. They did lose Bateman, which is going to be an issue. But hopefully Deshaun Jackson could do something for us there. Miami, right? Miami Dolphins. Getting Bradley Chubb is huge, guys. You got to understand this. It's such a big signing, and then they re-signed him for 5 years. They traded for him, and then they got him for the 5 years. It's huge. Miami needed a pass rush. They needed a guy like Chubb. It's huge. Chubb's one of the best in the league. It's a lot. This is just a big deal for Miami because they do have that offense, and their defense was struggling a little bit. So with getting Chubb, it's a big deal for Miami. I expect Miami to be an issue now. If they do get into the playoffs in the wild card, they're not going to win the division. Bills are there. But when they do get the wild card game, it's going to be tough to play this team. I can see Miami making some noise now in this this year going into the season, right? They are 5-3. I can see them. I'm on an 8.5 total. I can definitely see them getting over that 8.5 total for the year. I like this Miami team. 49ers getting CMC, right? That was obviously before the trade deadline, a couple days before. And then a few days after, who else did 49ers gave away Jeff Wilson. They got CMC. Just very impactful, making history in his first game. Right? Second game. First game he got some carries, but second game he was really involved in the offense. Deebo Samuel went out, but CMC obviously made up for that. So it's going to be interesting to see this 49ers offense moving forward. More under the radar signings. Quickly go over Hawkinson to the Vikings. I think is a big addition for the Vikings. They did need a tight end there to open up the offense a little more for Jefferson and their running backs. Hines, I think, was a sneaky good pick. Very good out of the backfield. Loves to catch the ball out of the backfield. They needed someone like that. It just makes this Buffalo offense even more explosive. So, yeah, those are some of the key ones. There are also a bunch of others too, but those are the ones that really caught my attention. Weekly update. All sports you can find over at the UFC video. Go check out my UFC video at my website as well for all sports. NFL, profitable week 8, all over Cleveland last week, and it paid off big time. They were the underdog free pick for you guys. Hopefully you jumped on that, plus 140. I had them plus 3.5, 3.5, and on a teaser, plus 10.5 for clients. We hit the teaser as well. And underdog for you guys last week. 36 and 21 client run after 8 weeks right now, highlighted by totals right now at 71% and over 6 units on the year. Happy with that. Systemsportscapping.com to become a client today and receive all my personal plays in all sports. System Capping, all social medias. Give me a follow. You'll see free picks there. You'll see sports betting news, just sports betting, just sports information in general. Give me a follow, Instagram and Twitter. I am the most active. Like the video, guys. Like the video. It does help me out a ton. And comment and share as well. It is much appreciated. Let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time and get right into it. Bills minus 11.5 at Jets, total 46. Big divisional game here, right? Big, little bit of a surprise with the Jets, right? 5-3. I did think they were going to be better this year, the Jets. But some of these road wins they came up with, and them winning 4 games in a row after the loss last week to the Patriots, right? They got some big wins over there. Wins over Miami. Green Bay, even though Green Bay's struggling, it's not easy to go to Green Bay and win a game. And it's not easy to go to Denver and win a game, even though they are both struggling. And it was their defense. Let's be honest. It's not like the offense would look good against Miami, but in Green Bay and Denver, it was the defense that showed up on the road. And their defense continues to get better. I really like their secondary. Last week versus New England, though, Wilson, he didn't look great. 3 interceptions. And I just don't know if he's the answer there long term. We're going to have to see. He needs some more time. I get it. But it'll definitely be interesting to see. Fun matchup, right? Bills passing attack versus his Jets secondary. The Bills lead the NFL in passing and points scored. No secret there. Allen is averaging 314 passing yards on the year, guys. And the Jets could be in for a long night. They could. However, I like the secondary that the Jets have now. You know, Sauce Gardner against Diggs, that's going to be a juicy matchup. Sauce Gardner already, as a rookie, probably one of the better corners in the NFL. That's a lot to say, but it is true. DJ Reed also playing well. And the Jets have been playing well in general in the secondary. What was, with the Jets defense, what I think the difference is, obviously the secondary has been good. They've been getting pressure. Anytime you're over 30%, you're getting pressure to the quarterbacks, even if they're not sacks. Pressuring them and making them throw is what the Jets have been able to do. And it's been impressive. They will need to get to Allen, right, to try to... So you're not going to ever eliminate the Bills' offense, but you can slow it down. You can slow it down with pressure and with good secondary coverage, and the Jets have the opportunity to do that. They have the opportunity to slow it down, and I just don't see Wilson to be able to put up enough points over the Bills' offense, right? So I do like Allen here. I do like the Bills to win the game. I don't love the 11.5 on the road. Me personally, I don't bet anything over 10 on the road in most cases. It's hard for me to get to. I won't be able to get to the Bills 11.5. Obviously if you like teasers and play teaser, you can tease down the Bills. But, I kind of like the under 46 here. I don't think the Jets are going to score a lot of points. And I think the Jets defense has improved and it can somewhat limit this Bills offense. So I lean the under. Not a game that's going to make my client card. But yeah, Bills definitely win this game and move to 7-1. Rams versus Bucs. Bucs -3, total 42.5. One of the toughest games, I think, all week to predict the side. And let's talk about it. The two teams who are underachieving this year, the Rams at 3-4, the Bucs at 3-5. No one had this at the start of the year, guys. Let's be honest. So many stars and experience on both sides. It's just hard to see that. You expect week after week for them to turn around. They just haven't. They haven't been able to. Bucs on a long week should help them a bit here. Played Thursday, and Ravens went into Tampa Bay and stole a win without their 2 offensive weapons for the most part. Bateman and Andrews were banged up in that game. Brady actually played decently last week. No picks, 1 TD, and 325 passing yards. He wasn't able to get it done in the red zone, though, and on third down. Third down was key there. 4-13 on third down last week. Just won't cut it. and they're 25th in the NFL on third down. That's concerning, right? Some of that is because no Gronk and no legit tight end, in my opinion. You got to think over the years, Brady always loved that tight end security. Doesn't have it this year. I think that is an issue, and it has shown here, especially on third down. You like to go to your tight end, right? The Rams' defense underachieving as well. Almost a 70% completion percentage on the year. That's not good. And 9 passing TDs allowed through the air. So both teams have struggled on defense, even with these big names. Speaking of big names, Shaq Barnett out for the year. Terrible news. Terrible news for the Bucs. It's a huge loss for them. Rams on offense, allowing a lot of sacks. The O-line just isn't playing up to par. 24 sacks allowed isn't good. And you need to give Stafford time. Kupp, questionable for this game. I think he will play. Watch out for that if you do like the Rams. And I'm going to lean the +3 with the Rams. Obviously, you want to see if Kupp is playing there. Total, I'm kind of looking at the over 42 and a half just because the defenses aren't playing up to their level. So I could see this getting over the 42 and a half. Definitely interesting to see who wins this game. Two teams that are underachieving who could have better second halves. But, this Rams team, when I was watching on offense, they don't have that second wide receiver that's stepping up. Robinson, unfortunately, has been a failure for them, for his expectations. And then the run game. No run game right now. So, yeah, the Rams have a lot to worry about, guys. Especially if that defense is not playing lights out. Wins are going to be hard to come by. I'm staying off this game. I suggest you guys stay off this game as well. Favorite play would lean the over here. Ravens -2.5 versus Saints. Total 48. Good Monday night game here this week. Always tough to play in New Orleans. However, maybe this year, a little less. The Saints are 2-2 at home. Both solid defenses coming off a win due to them. First game for Roquan Smith. I mentioned it on top of the video. A huge addition for this team. It should be able to slow down Kamara a bit. Kamara went off, right, last week. Wow. 3 TDs, 9 receptions for 96 yards, and added 18 carries as well. Is he going to be able to do that against the Ravens defense? No. I'm going to tell you right now, he's not going to be able to do that against this Ravens defense. But they're going to have to try to get him involved. Big win for them last week, the Saints. 24-0, shutting out Carr and Devontae Adams. That's what was more impressive. Shutting out Adams. This Raiders team's struggling this year, but they can put up points. So that is very impressive. And that's why I'm probably going to look at the under here. The under 48, due to, both teams, I think, their strength being on defense at times, especially as of late. The Saints defense has been player, and Ravens adding the star that they needed with Smith, and their defense also won that game against the Bucs. The 4-13 on third down won them the game. Let's be honest. So I like the under 48 here. I lean the 2.5 with the Ravens. Make sure Andrews is playing, though. It's going to be tough if Andrews not playing. They lost Bateman for the year. It's a big loss. Deshaun Jackson may get in there, but we know Deshaun Jackson. He's 35 now. I don't know how much he has left. Maybe there for a big play or two, but Ravens could struggle a little bit. They're going to have to run the ball. Saints against the run, not great. 4.5, 17th in the NFL. So I think if Ravens run the ball, what does running the ball do? Kills the clock. So I'm going to have to look at the under here. If Andrews doesn't play, I'll like the under even more. So you may want to jump on it now. I think Andrews is he hasn't practiced all week. You're going to have to see today, or at least on Friday, to see if he plays. If he doesn't practice all week, I don't think he's going to play. It is a Monday game. I think they practice Saturday, so you may want to look at the Saturday injury report. But it's a big loss if Andrews doesn't play. And it's going to be a lot to ask for them to go in there without their 2 top weapons and win the game outright. Andrews play, I like the 2.5. Total, I like the under. Teaser options this week, guys. We hit a nice one last week. Dallas, Browns, and Jets. Hopefully you tailed that. This week, we're going to look at the Vikings. Vikings plus 3.5. I think they go into Washington and beat them outright. Washington has been sneaky, though. They've been getting some sneaky wins, so watch out for that. Wouldn't be surprised if they win, though, outright on the road. You could also look at the Bengals as well. Just win at home, and then Miami could be a look as well. +3. I think you can get them at. I think Miami just goes into Chicago and beats them up. Underdogs. We hit a nice one last week. Favorite play of the week hit for us. Cleveland +140. Hopefully you tailed that. I don't love anything this week, guys. You know I'm transparent with you guys. I'm not betting any underdogs this week. The only two that catch my eye, probably Rams on the road. Obviously Brady struggling. That defense struggling. Shaq Barrett, big loss. So you can get that +120 or above. Look at that maybe. And Falcons. Chargers are underachieving. They don't have Allen and they don't have Williams. They're two top wide receivers. That could be an issue. Falcons play good at times. Those are the only two. But again, I don't like anything this week. Just being honest with you guys. That will do it, guys. That will do it. NFL Week 9 video. Give it a like. Check out my UFC video if you haven't already. It's trending good. We're hot in the UFC and all sports pretty much. Trying to get going in the NBA and NHL though. We'll see how that goes. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Take care.